Hi, guys. This is me, just a regular girl in her mid 20s who's a victim of her own sister's lies and manipulations. My sister ruined my entire life. Our lives are heavily dependent on the choices we make when we're young. To get a good education, you require money, and that money was all taken by her for parties. Basically, my sister got married to a guy despite everyone's disapproval, and this caused our family to go no contact with her. I was the only one still in contact with. She had two kids, and just a couple of years after they were born, her husband left her. She was living abroad all alone and handling everything all by herself, and it was difficult. She did have a job, but it wasn't enough. Every now and then I used to send her some money, but again, I was a student myself. I didn't have access to a lot of money. Misfortune seemed to hover on her. First, her ex-husband died, then her baby got diagnosed with stage 1 cancer. I was horrified on hearing that about my nephew and wanted to rush there to help her out. But she told me not to come as it would only increase her expenses. She told me that she would share all the details with me, but she needed some money. I sent her my entire savings, but it wasn't enough for her. This went on for around a year, and I had to choose between my education and her medical expenses. I chose her, thinking that my education can wait. I wanted my nephew to live a healthy life. I wanted my sister to be happy. So I used to work odd jobs and send her money every month. Fast forward a few years, and my sister seemed to have her life in order with her son being fully recovered. She had a good job, a decent house, and a second-hand car. I was proud of her, thinking that all the money I sent her had been put to good use. I couldn't send a lot, but tried to do as much as possible. With quite a good amount of experience from working all this time, I got hired at an MNC as a secretary. It wasn't much, but it was something. I was just happy to be able to provide for my sister. She was also working to give her kids a good life, but something seemed off when she would refuse to video call me, saying that her internet was always slow or that she was busy with work. It was strange because she would always call me when she needed money. She also stopped updating me about my nephew's health, which was odd because I was always worried about him. With his disease, there was always a risk, and I wanted to be on board with everything. I decided to surprise them on my nephew's birthday and fly there. I reached the address, and I was shocked to find a luxurious villa with a sprawling garden and a fancy car parked in the driveway. I was surprised to say the least, as this was not the kind of house I expected my sister to live in. When she opened the door, she was dressed in designer clothes and her hair and makeup were done perfectly. I was shocked, wondering where all this money came from. Her expression said that she was equally shocked to see me as well. She tried to hold me at the door, but I stepped inside and saw my nephew and niece playing with expensive toys and gadgets. I was happy to see them healthy and happy, but I couldn't help but wonder how my sister had managed to afford all of this while I was living in poverty to send money. When I asked her about it, she hesitated and then admitted that she had inherited a lot of money from her husband's family after his death. I was confused as I had no idea that her husband's family had that kind of wealth. And if that were the case, why was I asked to pay for all this? My nephew and niece were very happy to see me, and I didn't want to create a mess in front of them. As I spent more time with them, I began to notice some strange things. She had no pictures of her husband or his family in the house. She also had no medical bills or records for my nephew's cancer treatment, which seemed odd. When I asked her about it, she became defensive and refused to answer any of my questions. I decided to go through her papers and documents. Of course, she got super defensive, and as I threatened to go to the hospital to inquire or directly go to my nephew's school for, they must be aware of his physical condition, she couldn't help but accept that he was never sick at all. She had been lying to me all these years, taking advantage of my love and kindness. I was devastated and angry. I felt like I had been used and betrayed. I decided to confront her, but she denied everything and tried to manipulate me into believing her lies. I couldn't take it anymore. A sense of anger and betrayal washed over me. How could my sister deceive me like this? How could she live a life of luxury while I struggled to make ends meet and support her family? It was clear that my sister was the villain in this story. As I thought more about it, I realized that my sister had been manipulating me all along. She had always been the favorite child in our family and had grown up entitled and selfish. Even after she made some poor choices and was disowned by our family, I had still been there for her, supporting her financially and emotionally. And all the while, she had been living a life of extravagance and deceit. I decided that enough was enough. I couldn't just sit back and let her get away with this. I began to do some research and discovered that she had been lying to me about her finances, her job, and even her health. She had been living off of my money and lying to me about it the entire time. My sister was aware that I wouldn't let it go this easily, so before I could do anything, she started spewing her lies. She immediately started to create problems for me. She called our parents and told them that I was spreading lies about her and that I was just jealous of her success. She even went as far as to report me to the immigration authorities, claiming that I had overstayed my visa in her country. I was shocked and hurt by her actions. How could she do this to me after everything I had done for her and her children? I knew I had to act fast, so I contacted a lawyer and explained the situation to him. He advised me to gather all the evidence I had about the money I had sent to my sister over the years and the conversations we had had about her financial situation. He also told me to document all the threats and harassment I was receiving from my sister. Armed with this evidence, I decided to confront my sister and tell her that I had proof of all the lies she had been telling me and everyone else. At first, she denied everything and accused me of making it all up. But when I presented her with the evidence, she broke down and confessed to everything. She apologized for everything and begged for my forgiveness. But it was too late. I had had enough of her lies and manipulations. I decided to press charges against her for fraud and theft. I also told her that I would not drop the charges unless she repaid every penny she had taken from me. I contacted immigration services and reported her for fraud. I provided them with all the evidence I had gathered, including bank statements and emails. Within a few weeks, my sister was arrested and charged with fraud. My sister was devastated by my decision, but I knew it was the right thing to do. I couldn't let her get away with what she had done. In the end, she was forced to repay me all the money she had taken from me, and she was also sentenced to community service for her actions. It was a harsh move, but I knew that it was the only way to get justice. I had been manipulated and taken advantage of for years, and I couldn't just let her get away with it. My sister's life was turned upside down, and she was forced to return to our home country after the period of her community service was over. So my sister is furious and is trying her best to turn people against me. Despite my sister's attempts to twist the truth and make me look like the villain, I know deep down that I have done the right thing. I had spent years sacrificing my own education and financial stability to support her and her children, only to find out that she had been lying to me the entire time. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but I refused to let her manipulate me any longer. I started to distance myself from her and her toxic behavior. I refused to engage in any more arguments or drama and instead focused on rebuilding my own life. I worked hard at my job and saved up enough money to move into my apartment. I also started to make new friends and even began dating someone. So, my sister wasn't done causing trouble. She spread rumors about me to our extended family and friends, trying to make me out to be the bad guy. She even went as far as to accuse me of stealing from her, which was a complete lie. I knew that she was just trying to deflect attention away from her misdeeds. Despite all of this, I refused to stoop to her level. I remained calm and collected and made sure to keep all of our interactions civil. I knew that I couldn't control her behavior, but I could control my own. And that was enough for me. Update 3. I have completely cut off contact with my sis. It was a painful and difficult experience, but I learned a lot from it. I learned that sometimes the people we trust the most can also hurt us the most. But I also learned that justice can be served if we dare to stand up for ourselves and fight for what is right. And most importantly, I learned that forgiveness is not always necessary. Sometimes it's okay to cut toxic people out of our lives and move on. I realized that I had to move on from this toxic relationship. It was clear that my sister was never going to change, and I couldn't keep enabling her behavior. It was time for me to focus on my own life and my own happiness. Thank you for being here till the end, Redditors. NTA, she deserves it. Such a bitch. No wonder people don't talk to her. What I hate the most about such people is that they set such a terrible example that people refrain from helping others. Our world needs more people like you, but unfortunately, people are here to only take advantage. You deserve all the good things in life. NTA, your sister is a horrible person. Using your kid's name for money is a terrible thing to do. People like her can never change. Next story. When I married my wife, she had 2 sons with her ex. They were 7 and 9. They're great kids, and we have always gotten along. They treat me with respect, and when their sister was born, they treated her like a full sibling. Their biological father is a piece of work, though. He is a perfect example of a Disney dad. He shows up occasionally, showers his son with gifts and affection, and then is gone for months. To be exact, he has seen his son exactly 14 days in the last year. My wife and I had to kowtow to his whims, though. She had a job opportunity in another state. She couldn't take it, though, because his parents live here, and that's where he lives. I'm still dealing with what I'm about to talk about, so please forgive me if I have trouble articulating my feelings. My wife passed away in November in a snowmobile accident, and within a week, his parents had gone to court to get the boys. I'm not their legal guardian. My wife and I tried, but he wouldn't allow it, and his parents were happy to help him screw with us. It was fine when she was here, but now it's all screwed up. I can't see them. They are staying with their grandparents. I wish my wife's parents were alive to help me, but they aren't. So my boys are not in their rooms. They are dropped off and picked up from school by their grandmother. I have no rights to them at all. I have a lawyer, but I don't want to spend all my money and time on this. I'm broken right now and I'm lost. I'm considering just leaving. My wife's insurance policies paid off our house and left me okay financially. I want to sell the house and move back to Illinois. My family is all there and I have no one here. Would I be the a-hole if I just say screw it and leave? My daughter misses her mom and her brothers. I feel like I would be an a-hole taking her away from her brothers. My parents and siblings want me back home. I just feel like shit leaving the boys with these people. Their father literally stopped paying child support and had his parents take them the week she died. They were grieving, and those people took them from their home. I want to fight for them, but not to exhaust my resources on them. NTA. But it sounds like the boys are teenagers, so there is a good chance that the courts would ask them where they want to live and who they want to see. It looks like they are between 14 and 17. Assuming you have a reasonable lawyer who is not overcharging you, the fight might not be as tough as you think it is. NTA for leaving, but please keep in contact in some way if you feel like the kids really have bonded with you. I don't know or believe if the father is actually neglectful enough to warrant major action. I am personally biased, as where I live, it is important for children to remain in a relationship with their biological parents. I also don't know the full extent of the children's feelings. I also would like more information. How old are the children? How long have you known them? NTA, rather than fighting for custody, I think your money would be better supporting the boys with a lawyer for emancipation and having a room for them at your new place closer to your family. They have choices that they can exercise better than you can. Very sorry for your loss. It's tragic. You all are getting jerked around like this. Always send your love through their sister as well. Next story. I, 16 female, and my older sisters, 21 female and 24 female, shared a bathroom until the fall. My brothers, 14 and 18 male, have began sharing a bathroom with me when my older sister moved out and my brothers and 21 female switched rooms, which means my brothers now share a bathroom with me. I have expressed protest in this because my brothers are just too messy and refuse to clean up after themselves. The bathroom became messy quite easily, and I have asked them several times if they could at least try to keep the bathroom clean. My mom would start yelling at me, calling me messy and how a grown woman shouldn't live in filth. I kept defending myself dozens of times, and I have even shown her the clean bathroom the second I was done cleaning, only for it to be destroyed in less than an hour by my brothers. Guests are coming over today, and I cleaned the bathroom the night before. When I woke up this morning, the bathroom was quickly messy again. My mom saw and immediately starts berating me and told me to clean up. I refused and said that my brothers need to help since the bathroom was never messy before they started using it. My mom denied it and again said that I'm a grown woman and I shouldn't be filthy. 21 female heard us talking and she joined in and said I shouldn't clean as it's unfair. My mom then went off on both of us and said it isn't fair for her to clean the bathroom, not acknowledging or punishing my brothers for not helping to clean the bathroom. I'm now grounded for the rest of the weekend and had to turn in my car keys. My mom has been rolling her eyes and side-eyeing me throughout the day. Are we the a-holes for refusing to clean? Edit. The bathroom isn't the only space my brothers make a mess in. They also mess up the living rooms as well. I have asked my sister if she was okay with me sharing a bathroom with her, and she said it's fine. I'll not use the bathroom downstairs for a while just to see if my mom will still blame me for leaving a mess. Edit 2. My dad is in the picture. He's out of the house a lot for work, and he has spoken to my brothers about doing their part in making the bathroom clean, but it fell on deaf ears. He's even scolded them, taking the video game system away. Nothing has worked so far. NTA, what's wrong with your mom? How is she not seeing that it's suddenly only a problem since your brother started sharing it? Is she okay? She sounds very annoying. Honestly, I just use a different bathroom. Even if it's a bit further, go back to sharing with 21 female. Refuse to use the brother share room at all. Don't enter it. Don't go in there. Then tell your mother you aren't a maid. I get the feeling she was the one who cleaned the other bathroom and is just sick of doing it, so can now scapegoat you instead. That's lazy, and she knows what's up. She's just being like this so somebody else can clean up after her ill-trained little chimpanzees. Also, you're not a grown woman. You're 16, and one of your brothers is older than you. She's training awful boys to be terrible men. NTA, your mom is perfectly okay with living in denial over the fact that her boys can make a mess just because they are boys. Nobody should live in filth, and if you and your brothers share a bathroom, it is equally their responsibility as it is yours. Your mom is actively trying to bring up the point of grown woman and trying to force you to clean up after other people's messes while actively trying to not hold your grown brothers accountable. If this happens in other instances too, where she favors her sons over you, I'm sorry. Absolutely NTA for refusing to clean up, and to be honest, you shouldn't have cleaned up after them after they made a mess earlier too. Mom is an a-hole for grounding you and refusing to believe you. NTA, your mother is right. You are a grown woman, and as such, you've chosen not to live in filth and not to be treated as the bathroom janitor. Your brothers need to learn to clean up after themselves. It's called a life skill. They will eventually, hopefully, move out and live on their own. Who's going to clean their bathroom then? Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.